Hello lovely viewers, welcome back to yet again another episode on the UCTV Environmental Dialogue. I hope you are having a very lovely evening. I want to congratulate you upon reaching this amazing year 2025. So happy new year from myself, from the entire team at UCTV. We are very happy to have crossed the year with you, and we hope to have a blaze and a blissful moment while we experience the year 2025. On the dialogue, we always have conversations relating to the environment, and today we have an amazing individual with us on set here in the live room, and we'd like to know more about her. If you didn't know our theme, let me break it out to you. Our theme is the role of CSR in the protection of the environment, or environmental protection. And so if you want to catch us live, tune in on UCTV every Wednesday at 8 p.m. And if you want to catch the session, you can find it on YouTube. For all our sessions, there is a downstream of all of them. It's everything about the environment and how we can make it more sustainable. So I turn the cameras to our lovely guest on the show. Her name is Teopista. She's a lovely sister. Not biological, but she's a tribe mate. All the way from Tessoland, all my Easterners. Yes, I had to bring you one of your lovely people. I've always wanted a sister, and Teopista is one of them. So let's have her talk to us and tell us a brief about herself and what she does. Teopista, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, moderator. And I want to thank all the viewers. Happy New Year. I'm so glad to meet you in 2025. And I'm happy to be here, ready to explore on this particular topic. And I would like to tell the viewers outside there that I am a single mother. Ooh. And I lead mothers, specifically teenage mothers. My organization is Taraji Teenage Girls Initiative. We are also contributing towards reducing teenage pregnancy, not particularly in Teso, but all over the country and worldwide. Thank you.
I love how you boldly mentioned teenage mother, and you are a single mother, and I was like, ooh, some boldness and confidence. Yeah. Briefly, how has it been?
Not quite bad. It is so interesting. Let me tell you something. Everything happens for good, and sometimes when something happens that way, actually most people think being a single mother, it is like a shame, or it is like you failed in life. But I tell you, sometimes if you even ask those who are really married, sometimes they would wish to be single mothers. Yes. But though I am not advocating for single mothering, yes, but I hope to get someone soon.
Oh, yes. So to our lovely viewers, if you feel like she's a catch, anyway.
I'm not searching right now, please.
Okay. So from her point, she says, let the single remain single, and if you're married, enjoy your marriage. Let's close that.
Not actually that, but the issue is, if you can be single, please stay there. But if you know you cannot handle, my friend, catch up with someone.
You're killing me right now. Okay. But anyway, let's bring you all up to speed. Our theme for this amazing evening is the role of CSR, or what we call the corporate social responsibility in environmental protection. So, Teopista, let's begin by defining what corporate social responsibility is.
Okay, to my opinion, what corporate social responsibility means is that when when companies actually come together voluntarily to contribute towards maybe environmental impacts or economic impact or social impact. Yes.
Yes, exactly. And of recent, we've been looking at corporate environment responsibility, where organizations have the responsibility, or they are mandated to ensure that their actions are not continually contributing to carbon emissions or pollution or degradation. So at the end of the day, it is the responsibility of an entity or any organization to contribute towards environmental protection. And I'm glad that we are discussing this question right here and right now. So Taraji initiatives, are there any sorts of corporate social responsibility activities that you've carried out just in order to give back to community?
Yes, actually, we have had like not quite many, but I can talk about the recent one. We have been involved on that. Like last year, almost at the end, from the month of November, we actually cooperated with the other local organizations around. I can point out Network for Active Citizens and the Youth Go Green. We have been together involved and working towards the same issue. Like, for example, I can say with the Network for Active Citizens, we were involved in making briquettes, trying to teach the girls on how to make briquettes. And you know, briquettes is like something to, we are trying to get an alternative. Instead of going to cut down so many trees, it is not actually the best option, but at least it is contributing towards saving our environment. And also we're involved in urban farming, mainly kitchen gardening, planting our crops within, like in a smaller area, and using recycling, actually recycling the very things that always destroy our environment, like the sacks, the old sacks, the containers for water, you know. We always collect that, and with that, we're not doing it alone. We have been doing with the community itself and the parents around, and also the organization that have been supporting us, that is Network for Active Citizens. And with Youth Go Green, actually we have been involved in the 6th SDG run, of which we were promoting the 17 SDG run, which is the 17, which is the partnership, of which partnership it's like coming together of companies, organizations, yeah, to achieve one particular goal. So that's all.
Yes, and from what you are saying, we get to pick the fact that no man is an island, and you've come together with all these different organizations to carve a solution for most of the environmental challenges, and I think that's very impressive. You've mentioned one thing, and that has caught my attention, and that is the activities you've engaged in, for example, the making of briquettes. And what materials have you been able to use while you are trying to make these briquettes? Because I've seen many young people innovating and creating ideas, and they have been relying on the fact that they can get charcoal dust and use that to make briquettes. But in the long run, when you really internalize the effect, that is continually advocating for tree cutting. Because if your raw material is charcoal dust, then you are encouraging more tree cutting. So is there a more sustainable way of how we can get alternative sources of energy?
Thank you so much. Actually, like I said in the beginning, this is not like the best option. You get it? But as we are moving towards getting the best option, we're like, no, but we can first start with this. And another thing, when we talk about the materials that we use, we actually use the finished materials. We get like the charcoal dust, yes, out of the breakings of the charcoal that they have already used. And this charcoal, maybe like they burnt the trees that were already, maybe they dried naturally. by their own, and they get that and they get burnt, and we use those residues, mix them with actually soil. And you know, we have at least a soil in abundance, and it's a natural resource.
Yeah.
We mix with the soil, and of which it is the cheapest. When you look at it, it is cheap. You don't need to buy soil. You can have soil around your compound and you can get. And still, people are still using the charcoal. So at least the remains, where do we put them? The remains of the charcoal. So we are trying to put that into use.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think what I really want to fully understand is that, do you sense any sort of development or growth in the sphere of corporate social responsibility? Do you think different organizations have embraced that? Let's take an example of Coca-Cola or any other beverage companies that are into the production of these juices, and they use plastic material to produce the same. Do you think they have done their best in regards to showing their responsibility to our citizens?
Yes, I can agree with that. They are really trying their best in a way that I see most of them, they are practicing like the supply chain practices, in that they always want to get their supplies from those that are also working towards the same goal. They are working towards reducing issues of that bring environmental like problems. In that, for example, you talked of Coca-Cola company.
Yes.
Yes, they are on to they have brandings. They always brand those Coca-Cola. Actually, the packaging, they package on the containers, plastic containers, but also where they're supplying, they make sure that those that they supply also find a way of keeping the used up after using what they want from the bottle. Those bottles are always brought back to the company for recycling, of which this has really showed that they are up to the same goal.
Yes.
Yes.
I actually do agree with the fact that they have done different initiatives, they have actually held very different initiatives within community, just to find more sustainable ways. But I think there is still much to do, because when you look into the daily release of plastics within our environmental community, you get to realize that on a daily, let's say roughly 700 tons of plastics are released, and this ends up in our water fields, the land itself, and it ends up distorting the entire ecosystem. So there's more that can be done, and
yes,
there's more that is actually needed.
Actually, I can agree with you. Yeah, they have done something. Like I say, they have done something, but not so much. If they could go extra mile. For example, if they are to supply, but also after supplying, they also try to like come back to the community and invest something small to the community, and maybe involve the young, the youth, these teenage mothers, these teenage girls, these teenage boys who are just there to help them out, maybe collect some of the things, and they put points that this is particularly for Coca-Cola, so that it can be recognized that Coca-Cola is doing something in the community.
Yes, I must actually attest to the fact that as an entrepreneurship mentor and coach, I have interfaced with Coca-Cola programs, and we've worked together directly. We've been to the slums of Waise, all the slums, within Kampala. We have been able to do particular programs where we've had young people develop projects or impact ideas that are sustainable, but also recycling and reusing most of these plastics. So I must commend them for that. So you mentioned something about the community, and these are the most affected, and that is why we call it the corporate social. By social, we mean the individuals themselves living within the affected communities. What role do you think they can also play towards ensuring that corporate social responsibility is achieved in regards of protecting the environment? How engaging do you think the environment should be brought on board?
Actually, if you can pardon me a bit.
Yes. So communities, how can communities be engaged when it comes to corporate social responsibility? For example, when we look at the governing bodies, the LCs, how can they be on board, be brought on board?
I get you. What I can say here, you see, these communities, first of all, they look at this issue of environmental degradation, environmental everything. They look at it as something meant just for the government. It doesn't concern them. Like, they don't look at it as an issue. And yet, in the long run, it actually affects the community itself. So what I can only say is that the only way they can get involved in this, at least if they can be, like, maybe if they can get maybe awareness, if they can be taught, if they can be sensitized about environmental dangers, and what these plastics can do to the environment, whatsoever that we do in our communities definitely affects us depending on how we are doing it. So if they can be sensitized and being taught, like maybe in a communal setting, and the only way I see we can achieve this is by companies coming together. And when they come together, for example, let me say government, other NGOs, they come together. They are saying, as they're looking at Taraji doing this small thing, but our hand is short. Actually, Taraji teenage girls would have even done much better if other companies, if other organizations, if government would come in and at least do something small with us, we would really impact so much. Yes,
and I think that's a call for government and every individual who is watching us, every organization, every entity. We are trying to tell you that you can do something. The bottles released are affecting our environment. The green gas emissions are affecting the air we breathe. So it's an industry, it's a factory. We really need you to come on board and do something about the effect of your work. And now we are going in for another short commercial break. Here is Patience Alaso, myself, the moderator of today's session. And remember to catch us live every Wednesday at exactly 8 p.m. and on YouTube at 9 p.m. See you after a very short commercial break.
UCTV, good news for all. Kuleza Farm with Centenary Bank agribusiness solar loan of up to 50 million shillings for a solar-powered irrigation system on your farm. Enjoy a grace period tailored to your cash flows and loan offer amounts from 100,000 up to 50 million Uganda shillings with flexible loan periods up to 60 months. Apply for a Centenary Bank agribusiness solar loan through our branches, agents, and enjoy a fixed interest rate of just 1.7% per month. Kuleza Farm with Centenary Bank agribusiness solar loan today and watch your farming dreams come to life. Visit any of our nearest branch today or call our toll-free line 0800 200 555 or 0800 335 344.
Centenary Bank.
Centenary Bank is a member of the Center Group regulated by Bank of Uganda. Customer deposits of up to 10 million shillings are protected by the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda. Terms and conditions apply.
Support the Uganda Catholic Television with MTN Momo. Step 1. Dial *165*3#. Step 2. Enter merchant code 180572. Step 3. Enter any amount from 500 Uganda shillings. Step 4. Pay using MTN mobile money. Step 5. Enter PIN code and send. Step 6, you will receive a confirmation text for supporting the Uganda Catholic Television.
Ronaldo down in the area, penalty!
Don't miss the sports link on UCTV. Catch us every Monday to Friday from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. as we take you into the thrilling world of sports in football.
And Messi! Thuram! Mbappe!
Saka shoot, deflects in, Arsenal have the lead!
Netball,
Nasanga taking the shot. And look at that exceptional steal.
motorsports, boxing, swimming, and much more. UCTV Sports Link with Samgenza Mustafa. Only on UCTV. Good news for all.
Tiene que soñar.
Hello and welcome to UCTV. Welcome to Connect with Mary.
You're the Alpha and the Omega.
The Catholic Television. I'm Sunday Gloria Abwatch with UCTV News.
We need people to pay for content.
Bernardo Silva, Matheus Nunes, and Haaland!
Swings it across to Christie.
UCTV. Good news for all.
Oh, Susanna. Yo, what's up, everybody? My name is Rixel. Whenever it turns your lunchtime, we keep your vibes spiced always with your #1 lunch show.
No, I don't see it often.
We entertain.
I'm so insecure.
Educate, interact, inform, and hold random interviews every Monday to Friday from 1:45 to 3 p.m. only on UCTV with me, your host, Rixel. The Lunch Vibe. Keep your vibe spiced always.
Hello and welcome back to Connect with Mary on the Uganda Catholic Television. Good news for all.
Today, like I told you earlier, we are going to talk about the 7 sorrows of Mary.
You know, for me, the strength of Mary, I think, we are looking at Mary as a symbol of strength and resilience.
When Simeon saw Jesus, because the angel God had revealed to him that he will not die until he sees.
If it was not the woman, the mother of Jesus.
We are sister counselors. We are here to share with you about a number of topics, issues concerning human life.
We have groups, can have a group of children, a group of youth, families.
We also offer workshops to a variety of group of people. We go to schools, we go to parishes, to sisters' congregations.
Every Monday, Saturday and Sunday.
Children, how are you feeling? Are you happy? Are you being punished for nothing?
The elderly, are you feeling challenged in the world? Are you rejected?
Husband and wife, don't miss.
UCTV. Good news for all.
Welcome back from that very commercial short break. Patience Alaso over here hosting Taupista and the founder of Taraji Initiatives. So we have been discussing about corporate social responsibility and how different companies are contributing to environmental protection. We are catching up from there, and I'd like to know from you, Talpista, what are some of the challenges that organizations face while implementing their CSRs?
What I can say is that most of them, like I said in the first place, Taraji would have done much if other organizations, if government had come together. So you realize that the most thing that was limiting us here are the resources.
Okay.
So you find that if these companies come together, this one collects, and we bring up together, you find that something better is made. But this thing called the resources, if they are not there, trust me, you can't do anything. You can't do much. You can't engage much. Yes.
Yes, and okay, continue.
And also, when you see it is corporate social responsibility, and it is supposed to be voluntarily. So you find that it's not easy to motivate employees to actually come together and really do voluntarily. So it's really so hard.
Yes.
Yes.
So getting it from you, it seems like many companies would really love to give back to community, but the main hindrance could be the resources. And for those that have been able to give back to communities, kudos to you, because most entities or organizations are profit making.
If I may also chip in, actually, yes. you find that most of these companies, it's not easy for them to balance their profits and also giving back to the community.
Exactly.
It is not easy. You find that some of them do not actually want, because they know that what will I gain from? They actually don't look at the impact of giving to the community, of working together and do something for the community. Most of them only think about me. You understand? The person is only looking at, hey, when I make this money, I can do this for myself. Is not looking at others. Let me give you an example. Like if the company is making 20 million in a week, let me say in a week, and this 20 million, it has to divide it, that is a profit. But when you look at it, the company has other plans, other programs that may be to open another branch in somewhere else in up country. You find that it is not easy for them to pull those resources and put in here, and yet they could really do much. They could get more profits if they are to expand their companies. You see that. Then also, when you look at, let me say, you find that management is not easy. You find that, yes, all those companies come together, but who will manage this? No one is willing to stand in and be managing the entire process.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, corporate social responsibility can really be very hectic, very expensive, but also it's part of stakeholder management. And when we look at stakeholders, we're looking at sponsors, we're looking at the consumers of your product, and at the end of the day, we are trying to build brand loyalty and we're trying to increase sales. So it's not really a loss, if I may say, because at the end of the day, everything works together in order to make that entity bolder and stronger.
Excuse me, sister.
Yes.
Me and you, we look at it like it is not a loss. But let me tell you, these companies also need some sensitization somewhere.
Yes, yes.
You understand? Or it needs government to come in and say, look, and also maybe to regulate, to bring a law that if you're a company and you're dealing with this, you must contribute here. You get it? That's when they can come in. But most of them are not looking at it like it is really vital.
Vital.
Yes.
That's very true. And we've had cases where different contributors of, let's say, carbon emissions have been tasked to find alternative ways on how they can curb or combat the effects of their productions. Yes. And we get to see that there are laws that are limiting dumping, okay?
Yes.
You get to ask yourself, where does all the waste go? Does it end up in our water bodies? But the government has put laws in place to ensure that every entity is, tasked. And mandated to safeguard the lives of the community. And right now we are looking at the environment, really. And I think everyone can contribute to the environment depending on what kind of entity you are in. For example, when you look at you mentioned Youth Go Green. They are having ways on how they are promoting environmental sustainability. Look at the trees they've been planting, okay, in the different regions of Uganda. That is enough. Sometimes the little things we do are the ones that sustain us. Let's take an example. You have a bottle of water, okay?
Yes.
And it's a plastic bottle of water. You've taken your water. I am expecting you to preserve the environment by simply get it and dump it in its rightful place. Look for a dustbin. But many of our young folks or Ugandan people, you find them dumping wherever. And that is what I mean by community involvement. As long as the community is sensitized about the effects of their actions, then in one way or the other, they're also contributing to social well-being and sustainability.
Also to add on that, you find that also the companies, if they can adopt the rightful practices, like for example, when you talked of Coca-Cola company, yes, they produce the bottles, or Renzori company, they produce the bottles, but after producing, they should also find another practice in that they can recycle, they can reuse again those used up bottles and again produce more. So that you find that actually it impacts a lot. Yes.
Yes, and it is wide. Not only Coca-Cola, but we've seen Total Energies call for young people to bring out their best in innovation, their best in technology, and many of these have gone into various programs of support under Total Energies. And so I think between me and you, each and every one of us can do something. Each one of us can contribute to corporate social responsibility. And you mentioned something about profits. It's very hard for entities to balance their profits and then giving back to community, because at the end of the day, you are using your money without having to gain it back. You are giving the money away, which becomes hard for all these other entities. So what do you think government can do, or what role does government play in providing an environment that is conducive for these organizations to give back to community and society?
Actually, what government can do, government can actually come on board, come down to the grassroots. Number one, they at least should come and support the small initiatives who are actually trying to do something, who are actually trying to collect these garbages and re-put them into use. I am not saying it's only Taraji Teenage Girls who is trying to recycle something, to recycle these things, but there are other also organizations, other small organizations, like when you go to Mbuya, there is Mbuya Community Initiative, I think. Yes, they are also trying to do the same. So if government could come and support these small initiatives in communities, this is one way of even advocating, and you find that even people get to know that, oh, actually this is very important. This is what we can all do. If this person can do this, even me, I can do. If Taraji can do this, just girls could do this, even all of us can do. Then secondly, government can actually introduce stronger policies. Like if you're dealing with, if you're in line with something, maybe an activity, a practice that is against environmental protection, you must also contribute towards protecting the environment. You must bring another practice that can actually safeguard the community, that can safeguard our soil, that can safeguard our air, you know.
Yes. Yes, and to you, our lovely viewers, remember you can always comment about this particular show on our different social media handles and tell us what you think about this particular dialogue. The environment concerns you, it concerns me. It concerns the environment, it's biodiversity. We are looking at every aspect, and we are looking at how organizations can contribute to environmental protection. And we cannot go without making mention of entities that are directly in charge. For example, NEMA, for example, the Ministry of Water itself, and what they have been able to do, or how they are able to support these different entities that are in the same line of work. So I want to break it down to the partnerships. You mentioned how you have worked with different organizations to support you in giving back. How crucial and pivotal is the element of partnerships and collaborations in achieving CSRs?
It is very crucial in a way that one voice may not sound, may not
as hard.
Yes, but when, like, let me say, when we come together, this one is also complaining over the same thing, the other one is also complaining over the same thing. You find that it becomes one issue that everyone is working towards achieving, and of which, if we are all ganging to achieve one particular thing, definitely we shall overcome. It's like, let me give you an example. We start fighting, and maybe another sister of mine comes to support me to fight you. Do you think you will defeat me?
No.
You won't defeat me, because already we are already two. So by partnering, we'll actually do something better. And another thing, as I told you, when you partner, there are so many resources. You will not feel like the resources that will be collected will not be as when one company or when one organization brings in one basket. But when we come at once, and you find that what these companies contribute, they will actually not feel the pinch. Like, as I told you that these companies, most of the time their buyers will be like, my profits, again, how can I divide my profits? And yet I could actually open another branch. But if they come together, you will find that they will not feel the pinch of it. They will contribute something small, the other also contribute something small. At the end of the day, we are able to achieve the biggest goal.
Cost sharing, that is. Okay, and so I am seeing the relatability of corporate social responsibility and the SDGs. And I have seen very many organizations over the years include a department for corporate social responsibility, and that is particularly to handle what can we do, who can we work with, what can we do to give back to community. And it is at this point that I ask you, how far do you think we can run with SDGs and relating the same to corporate social responsibility?
Can you break it a bit?
How can organizations take advantage of the SDGs as a means or mechanism of implementing their corporate social responsibility?
Okay, actually, the only way they can, in that, the only way actually they have to, actually, you have to do a lot of networking. You have to check who is doing with me the same kind of thing. Who is my friend? Who is doing, or who is doing better than me? It's not like it's a competition that I want to see who can defeat me on this. But you look at, like, if, for example, I am on climate change, the other one is on health, but how they look at how can this be merged together.
Yes.
They look at practices. You look at practices that you people can actually do together, activities that you people can both achieve. This one can also achieve from this side, this other one can also achieve in that. So you find that when we come together, all these SDGs, you find they will always rotate in one cycle. They always connect from one another. Each one needs the other. It's just like our bodies. When you look at our bodies, a hand cannot do without a leg.
Yeah.
A leg cannot do without maybe a thigh.
Yes, that's very true.
You find that at least when all this is incorporated together, you find there is actually something that will move the whole country, that will move the whole world. But if you do like in a single each SDG, like maybe for us we are onto health and well-being, and you only concentrate on health and well-being, and you forget that you actually need also to look at the part of climate change. When you look at calamity, it cuts across. You find that yes, health and well-being, but what are you contributing towards the climate change? And you find that maybe you are you're the one who is even causing the effect of climate change.
Yes.
But when you come together, you'll be like, I should avoid this. You find there are demarcations. You cannot do this, you cannot do that to save your colleague.
Sure.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, these are interconnected. We cannot talk about climate action without talking about how it affects life below water or life on land. And at the end of the day, each organization is supposed to look at how are we supporting in this area. If you are into businesses, how are we supporting in production of cost-effective products or quality products? So at the end of the day, there is a role to be played by every entity. And of recent, we've been having discussions around corporate environment responsibility. And this one is particular because corporate social responsibility mainly looks at the overall aspect of any sphere of the community or environment, but corporate environment responsibility is one that's focusing on environment. And I'm seeing different climate organizations or entities, and in the line of the environment itself, I do believe that there are some particular activities that can be done. Talk about tree planting, talk about sensitization on climate matters or the environment. So you talked of briquettes. What other sustainable activities can be done apart from briquettes? What else do you think these environment-related entities can do?
Actually, what they can do, what I can say, they can make sure that they are transparent to the community. They should show the community what they are doing, what they are contributing. Then also, they can be, maybe they can have stakeholders engagement in particularly environmental practices. Yes.
Okay. Yes, so there's so much that can be done, and I hope you come on board. And as we wrap up this very engaging and interesting dialogue, I'd like to know what you are tasking the different people viewing us to do when it comes to environmental protection.
Okay, thank you very much, moderator. What I can only task the viewers and each one of us outside there, this starts from an individual and it comes to cooperation. So we all have to come together. As you, a person, what can you do? What can you contribute? Before you first have to change as you, as an individual, before you change others. That's what they always say. So it starts from you, it starts from me, then we come to cooperation. So I call upon everyone, and each action, Bambi, it counts. So you don't have to say, this is so small, making briquettes, engaging into briquettes, this is just, it can't contribute much. So what I can only tell you, each action counts. We all have to come together and fight one phenomenon.
Yes, actually on that very point, I'd like you to briefly give us a highlight of how the future of corporate social responsibility looks like in relation to protecting the environment. Do you think there is hope? Do you think that the course under which entities are, moving is sustainable? What does the future of corporate social responsibility look like?
I really see, I'm seeing there is some hope, there is a future, because initially I did not see companies getting back, practicing this, let me say, they improving on their practices. For them, they only mind that for us, we have made our products and we have sold.
And we've also made our dollars.
We have made our dollars.
Yes.
We can still open another company, but I see most of them contribute in that they still go ahead and look at how they can still get back these products and repurpose them. That one shows that they're doing something. Then also, they are also trying to do something in our communities, coming together actually. By these companies coming together, you really see they are trying to protect their reputation outside there. And this benefits them. At the same time, it benefits the entire communities and the whole world, and even benefits the government. So why not embracing this? Why not embracing companies coming together? You see, it's not that it's only the government benefiting, not that only the community is benefiting, but you find that even those very particular companies, they get popularity from outside there because they're already getting back to the public. Their reputation is always at par. And also, they comply on regulations that the government has put in place. Just by coming together, they will always, even if when you want to go, to shift out of the bracket, but because you are together, you are always limited. You'll be like, if we are doing this, I cannot do this. You get it? They will always have those limits.
Yeah.
And they will always work towards complying on the regulations that are set. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Topista.
Yes.
It's been amazing having you here, and we hope to have you again.
Thank you.
Yes. So there you have it, our lovely viewers. That's been a conversation on the role corporate social responsibility plays towards the protection of our environment. We hope that you've learned a few things here and there on how you can contribute, and we hope to see you contributing to your environment, to your community, in your organizations, your employees. So anything really that you can do is highly appreciated. And I've been your host, Patience Alaso. Remember to catch our show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on UCTV and also on YouTube at 9 p.m. It's been amazing having you, and yet again, have a lovely year.
UCTV, good news for all.